Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this Saturday night episode of the Wacky Woo with Mr. JSNIP4. You can find his work at JSNIP4 here on YouTube and also on Patreon at patreon.com/JSNIP4. Joe, welcome back to the show. How's it going, man?
Good, very good. Everything's getting interesting. Boys, there's plenty to talk about, my friend.
Is there really? I hadn't noticed. Oh my God, hold on a second. I'm getting a weird notification from StreamYard. Remove this destination from broadcast. Oh, something about Rumble's not working. Okay, remove, yes. Hopefully, if I disconnect, I'll come right back, folks. Hopefully this doesn't change anything here. Okay. You can still see me, Joe?
Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah. Okay, we're still good. Okay. Hey, folks, thank you for joining us here tonight on Saturday night. We might have two special guests tonight. We don't know. It could just get really, really wacky. As the things are going on in the world right now, they are, as Joe said, getting really, really wacky. Joe, let's start here. A couple of months ago, you and I were making light of the fun of the fact that this guy was falling up the stairs and not down the stairs. So let me just bring that clip back for the audience members who don't know what we're talking about. But what was odd today in this world of signaling? Of course, it's very important, and all the symbology is very important. It happened again, this time on a bicycle. And it's kind of odd to me. I try not to laugh. He's an old guy, but still, it's a funny clip. But what do you make of that? Is this another signal that we're telling us this guy's about to fall? Is it just in your face? Is spirit really just telling us here what the hell is just about to happen? What do you make of all of this?
Yeah, and again, they said this about Trump. He had a minor little thing. The media blew it, like it was Trump's unfit for office, like he didn't tie his shoe right. Oh my God, he's unfit for office.
Right.
And so then all of a sudden we see that guy, whoever that guy was, going up the Air Force One steps. That was, last year. Yeah. And one fall, two fall, the third big fall where he gets down to his knee. Oh my gosh. It's like one, not too bad. Second one, a little bit worse. Third one, final one, I'm all the way down, knee down.
Yeah.
So everything that they got on Trump about, this has happened like tenfold worse to Biden. Yeah. Again, there's no way this is by chance, whatever, it falls again. So I follow some, I think it's called Gematria Club on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they have like a paid service. I haven't signed up to pay, but they would post, they post the numbers and stuff, and they've made pretty incredible predictions about like who would win the Indianapolis 500 or NASCAR or whatever it is, a sports thing. And they have a really high record of predicting stuff. So they just got done saying, oh yeah, tomorrow, the Pope Benedict 170, this 170, I think it's 170, this 170, the end of the Pope 170, like his days are numbered. And then Penny Kelly just did her look-see.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, September is when I was asking, to show me that month. And she goes, I'm seeing the Pope, maybe see you later, Pope.
Mm-hmm.
Like no longer with us. So I go, well, that's interesting. And so I replied to the person on Gematria, and I go, hey, just FYI, one of these psychic ladies I know is calling for the same thing. But in fairness, they were first. But they have a pretty good track record.
Right.
And speaking of Biden, they've already posted some stuff maybe 2 months ago or less. And I want to say, again, like the August timeframe, either August, September, October. I don't remember right now. But it was like, I want to say August-ish. So plus or minus, say, a month or two. And bye-bye Joe Biden was what Gematria is predicting. Again, they have a pretty strong track record. So, again, it's just one, he fell off a bike. Oh, there'll be another thing. He's going to start forgetting stuff live on TV and just like worse than he has, I should say. And again, I think it's just a gradual, okay, there's a problem, bye-bye Joe. So it's just going to get real interesting. And I think the sooner he goes away is going to be the sooner we get to dealing with, let's say, election stuff.
Right. And that's the subject we can't talk about here. But I'm just trying to find one of the pictures here. I posted this on my Twitter. And of course, there's so much news in this week. I can barely scroll one day. There's so many news items. That's absolutely crazy. But this one here. So this year, of course, we're talking about this absolute sea of red. It's carnage right now. That was the title on Zero Hedge. Of course, this is during his pretendency. A lot of people suspected that that's exactly what would happen in the last year or so, including yourself, that things would fall apart under this pretendency, only maybe to make people wake up to the fact that something is not right here in the land of Oz. So there's that. Now, going back to the Pope thing, yes, we just had Penny Kelly on also a couple of days ago for the Look-See. She talked about the Pope, and I asked her about this, but I wanted to have your opinion also. This is the second time now where the Pope is basically going against mainstream narrative and saying that, perhaps the guy sitting across the table in the area where he's presently in a specific theater was righteous in the fact that he had been provoked. So this is the words that the Pope is using. I'm choosing my words here. This is the second time here. Now you're thinking maybe he's going to disappear here too. Is it possible that this is related, that they're trying to get this guy to go and then rebrand the Catholic Church here because something huge is about to happen that's going to shake the confidence? This is what Penny Kelly was saying in her Look-See, that nobody would have confidence in anything, politics, education, including religion. So is this a move, do you see? Like, how do you tie in the gematria, him leaving, and this seemingly, I say seemingly, rapprochement here with the guy across the table? What do you make of this?
Yeah, so I think because everybody in the know, let's say, knows the Pope is going to be on his way out. Mm-hmm. And when I say on his way out, I don't mean retiring. He's on his way out. Mm-hmm. So he's, like Penny said, his usefulness is done. They already know it. So he can finally, in his last little bit of time, let's say, can come clean. So he's able to tell, you know what, everybody, Russia's actually not as bad as you thought, and here's why. Just a quick little blurb, essentially, is what he's saying.
Right.
Just like when we have some of the, the New York Times starts or Washington Post starts running the story about Hunter Biden's laptop all of a sudden. Why would they authorize that all of a sudden?
Yeah.
And then after that big breaking news, they went back to fake news and bullshit stories and whatever. Yeah. So it's like, who made them do that? Well, who made the Pope say what he said? And if you listen to what Penny Kelly's take on it was like, well, it's like the people behind him, so to speak, his usefulness is done. It's time for him to go. Mm-hmm. So maybe they weren't real happy with him having to say what he just said, but perhaps he had to say it. So when the Pope speaks, how many Catholics are out there that heard what he said? All it's whatever season it is for the people on the left, the stupid Ukrainian flag, avatars and icons on Twitter. I support Ukraine. And then the Pope just came out and goes, oh, listen, by the way, yeah.
I think they were provoked. Okay. So that's cool.
Take down the flag.
Yeah, it makes you think, right? And at the same time, this is also the third, I believe now it's the third time that President Macron is also suggesting that he's kind of supporting the other guy here and not going along the words or the narrative of NATO. Is he also coming out or being terminated at some point here? Why do you think that he's also now signaling that perhaps France should make nice here with the other guy the Pope was just talking about?
Yeah, well, again, let's just go back to Trump for a minute.
Yeah.
In the Five Eyes spying, which 5 nations, all these, and it was more than just 5, but those were the big ones that helped essentially, do what they did with Trump.
Yeah.
They caught, like he said, we caught them all. And he wasn't just talking about the deep state here locally.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have these people over a barrel, you can let them with a leash attached. Yeah, do your thing, do your little communist thing, do your socialist thing, do all this stuff. Pull the leash back. We need you to say something. We need you to say or do something else now. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've got them by the balls. So they're letting them do enough to where they're showing everybody who they really are.
Yeah.
These socialist communists. I mean, there's no hiding it. And then they'll do something like this. Oh, let's make nice with Putin. Let's make a deal. Oh, he's not so bad after all. Oh. Why? Is it just because Putin, has their oil hostage, so to speak? Because why couldn't they get it from somewhere else? Is it like they only have to rely on Russia?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's enough. They're just doing little things, and they're big, but they're like, I shouldn't say little. So they do things every now and then, not too often, but when they do them, they're huge, like a huge news story, so to speak. And it's something that is completely against the narrative that we were just all following. Now, you and I and the rest of us, you know, we know better. We know what the real narrative, you know, we know what the narrative is and we know what the truth is. But for the average person, you know, fly the Ukrainian flag, you know, those people, they're in la la land. And then all of a sudden someone like this says, oh yeah, like the Pope, this guy's actually, you know, I can see he was kind of provoked and da da da. So yeah, actually, and then they're gonna sit back and go, huh. Because that's an authority source to them. And just like Macron might be, because he has that leftist view, or so they thought, he has this leftist view. And then now he's saying, well, wait a minute. What about Ukraine? We can't just make a deal with Russia. What about Ukraine? They're going to sit there and go, well, damn, that's another leader. It's all designed to wake these people up so that when the National Guard does its thing and or military, we will be asking them what the F took you so long.
Right.
The average person will, not us. Well, actually, we were been waiting. You know, like, yeah, really, what took you so long? We were waiting, you know, on day one. But we understand there's an operation, and we have to wait. Yeah. And the normies have to be awoken. And
you and I were sitting in the hot seat. You and I were sitting in the hot seat with all this. We lost our YouTube channels. And we're like, where the fuck is the real military? Why is Joe and little old JC in Canada fighting this fight? Where the fuck is everybody else? You know? Yeah, exactly. So, let's talk about this here too. This is also, again, a change in the narrative. CNN was talking about it. Reuters was talking about it. They're talking about this land bridge that's been accomplished here by the guy sitting across the table from the Pope. And this goes in stark comparison to what we've been told for months, that, you know, NATO was winning and the other guy was, you know, complete hogwash and he was losing. That's not what appears to be happening. And again, so a lot of people I'm talking to, Joe, they're like, JC, what the fuck's going on? They're losing, but he's winning. Then the economy, we're going to have a soft landing, but yet we just had in the news today or yesterday that in mainstream news that we were back to Volcker era interest rates with these recent hikes.
75 basis points was a recent one.
The biggest one in 28 years, and they're promising more of that and more aggressive hikes there too. So I just had this interview with Bill Holter the other day and Andy Sheckman, and Bill was telling me, he said, JC, okay, because I told him, I said, look, it's complicated, Bill. I'm getting all these emails. People are telling me, what the fuck is it, JC? Do we have a soft landing or do we have a hard landing? Like we had, what's his face, Bernanke saying, oh no, we have a good shot there. We're going to avoid a recession. And the other hand, we're talking about Volcker era interest rates. And I said, how do I explain this to my audience? And Bill says, well, first of all, they're pulling the plug. So make no mistake about it. They've actually decided to pull the plug and they're pulling the plug now. One. And two, he said, you're not going to have to explain it, JC. It's going to be evident for everybody. This shit is about to blow like really big. And he mentioned something about, I believe it was 87 or 89, when Bill Holter was sitting at a trading desk and he saw this weekend where the markets just didn't open on the Monday morning. And so he says, I've lived that before, but a lot of you new kids on the block, you guys always think that's always going to be 0% interest and the stocks always go higher and higher. He says, they're about to get a rude awakening. What's your take on Bill Holter's opinion here that they're in fact, they've decided, they've pulled the plug and we're down this rabbit hole now, the fuse is lit, so to speak, and there's no turning back here to this implosion of the financial system by design by these guys? What do you say to that?
Yeah, there's under no circumstance do I see anything turning around. Like they have to go for it because the central bank digital currencies are coming. It's going to be a crypto world. XRP is the chosen coin. I've said it a million times. You should have in your portfolio a substantial amount of XRP. However, you need to get it now because you can't get it on American exchanges, but you can use places like Simple Swap or even Exodus. I think you can do a swap on there or Atomic Wallet and get you some XRP. It's the chosen coin. But this is the future. So again, Trump's not in charge. He's not around. The basement, dummies in charge. And when all is said and done, which he won't be in charge,
right.
He'll have caused so much damage that it's irreparable. And the world has changed so much in these last 2 or so years that we can't just go fix it. So we got to move forward with this new economy and new system, but some person that we all love might be in charge and take us to the promised land, so to speak. But that does not happen overnight. We don't just have manufacturing facilities built overnight to take off what China has been handling all this time. Right. So we're going to have problems, just like what Penny Kelly had said, where she saw this, shortages and all this stuff. It's real. So Dick Allgaier was very sick recently, deathly ill. And he said, that crypto viewing, they said, hey, everybody send him some love, send him some energy a few weeks ago. So I did, a bunch of us did. And he just did a video today, and he's like, he was looking skinnier. He was not looking healthy. He just got done recovering barely. So, but he was enough to do, a video. And he said, I was in bad shape. I was real bad shape, but I felt everybody's love and energy. I literally felt like invisible hands were touching me and taking that death grip off of me. Yeah. It was incredible. But he says, Richard didn't get he's like, didn't show up.
Okay. Keep going for Richard.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah. So anyways, he goes, but I'll just tell you, I went out of it, and went on basically La La Land. And he goes, and I saw like Bitcoin at like $288,000. And he's like, I know that's not the high. He goes, but what I also saw was a world not looking good right now. It was chaos and fighting and riots and fires and buildings on fire and even some wars. He goes, but then I saw the price of Bitcoin. So he goes, for me, when I see Bitcoin over $200,000, that's probably what the world's going to be looking like, or at least, start to look like. So if you think about it, it's the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Is $600 cliff high silver. Yeah. When he said, all these people are all excited. Win $600 cliff, win $600. Just FYI, you guys are all excited and wondering for that to come. He goes, it's not going to be a good day when that's here. When you look outside and you see what's happening around you, $600 silver is not a good day. And people didn't quite understand. Well, what do you mean? What Dick Allgaier just described is probably what he is exactly talking about, because that is essentially what he said. And also what Penny Kelly described on her last show a couple of days ago. She talked about the next couple of months here, and we're having some weird-ass times, of course, and in there we were seeing higher prices for silver and also gold. She was also seeing some of the things that Cliff High was saying about the collusion between Russia and China for that $10,000 per ounce gold price here in the very near future. I wanted to bring up this too. I have a special guest in the studio now. I'll bring them up in a second, but I just wanted to echo this as well, guys. If you haven't seen this meditation here too with divine feminine oracles in my show, you can see all the divine feminine power there. We did a singing bowl meditation to send some healing energy to Dick Allgaier, and of course I was showing one of his old pictures where he looked like Tom Selleck from Magnum PI to give him that youth energy again. Well, you saw the parody I had done on the Magnum PI skit with Dick. Anyways, absolutely happy to hear that Dick is better, and thank you everyone for joining us on that meditation to support our friend there. We all need to stick together in all of these times. So, Joe, while we're talking on the subject of the $600 silver, the weird couple of months of this breaking the omelet, and I have to say this too before I introduce our guest, Cliff did revise a little bit his vision of you're not going to like the $600 silver. And he's still on that, but he also said, even though temporarily you won't like it, we will know that we have won and that we're on the right track for a sci-fi world when we hit that $600 silver. So that still was a very positive thing in his mind as he looked at the bigger picture. And I think our guest that's coming up on the screen now also will agree with that. So folks, please help me in welcoming the lovely Penny Kelly. Penny, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hello. Oh my gosh. I wasn't going to join you, and then everybody left, and I thought, yeah, okay, I will.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I know. Look at my best. I look like a farmer today, but this is the way it is. So
very good. Well, we're excited to have you. Joe and I have been kind of touching on the same subject matters that you and I kind of reviewed a couple of days ago with your last look-see. But the last time you and I spoke a couple of days ago, we ran out of time, and you had 5 or 6 additional points that you thought, hey, maybe if it's opportune this weekend, we might want to bring that back on the radar here for the audience members. Right. So if you have time now, let's talk about those. Where do you want me to set up, or how do you want to set that up?
Interrupt Joe. I was interested in what he was saying. So, yeah. And what was wrong with Dick Allgaier?
He just got really sick, like just bad. And then and then after he was like bad, then he got like 105 fever and got like worse. And then, he's like, I felt he goes, I felt people doing Reiki on me. I felt like different kind of energies, some healing energies. Like he goes, I felt, and I feel like people are touching me. And there's nobody around me.
Yeah.
And he goes, but I'm telling you, I felt it. And it was like it pulled death's hand off of me. And he got like twice. He goes, he goes, you guys basically, I feel like you saved me.
Yeah.
And you remember these live meditations that we did with the singing bowl for Woo Woo Dude absolutely also
Same thing.
Helped him energetically, created a manifestation in physicality in his room when he was in the hospital. And of course, we're hearing the same thing now from Dick Allgaier. So between the two of us doing these live meditations, like we're moving the needle, and that's how powerful it is. And again, I want to thank all of you guys. When we come together, man, we can make magic happen. Speaking of magic, holy fuck, there's somebody else in the room right now at the bottom of the screen. I need to bring them up. Oh my God. So folks, please, again, give a big warm welcome to the one and only Mr. Woo Woo Dude himself, Richard.
All right.
Back to the show.
How do everybody?
Doing well.
Hello.
Hey. It's nice when we can all get together.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this is a beautiful Saturday night. I'm absolutely excited to have all of you on because this is my last show for the next couple of days. I'm taking a few days off with Sarah and the family here for a summer vacation. I'm really excited about that. So this is great for us to kind of touch on all of the pertinent points right now because our audience members are looking for a little bit of direction. Everything is absolutely shit show crazy right now. If they're looking at the news, they're trying to understand heads or tails of what's going on. While I have you on the screen, and maybe Penny, you can look up your 6 points. I'll get you Penny next on that. Richard, is there anything right now that you think is absolutely crucial? Either you've heard from the spirit, you're getting validation from some past forecasts, but what can you say to the audience members here about the near future and what we're about to live, or what we've actually entered now? As Bill Holter was saying the other day, JC, they've pulled the plug. We're in the process now. Woo Dude, the mic is yours.
Well, we are. This is the change of everything. We all know it is. And we just have to adapt to this day to day. But understanding we are coming out of the darkness to head into the light. And we all got to keep that in our hearts right now. Mm-hmm. It is going to be very troubling. Joe's hit it on the number of the crash, and it's going to go farther. But everything we know when it comes to the financials are going to change. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. Okay, very important. So keep cash on you, keep your precious metals, your cryptos, and hang on. And I really hope that, I know the last time Joe and I were on, time after time, we kept bringing up, to simply put, to grab your lows right here, and sit off to the side, be one with the vulture, all right, and then take advantage of us. And you just have to. And it's not financial advice in any manner, but I'm not even in the market. I'm setting off. Even me, I went weak. And I said to Texas Snippy, I feel weak. He says, be one with the vulture. I said, oh, thank you, master.
All right.
You.
Hold on. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. And on the show 2 months ago, I was talking to Joe and Janine also on one of our shows, and we said to the audience members, listen, what we're looking at now, we know where this eventually goes. Like we're seeing this transition, and people who had already divorced themselves from the old system that's crumbling will be better off here as we get into the new system. I think everybody on the screen agrees to that. But we said also, there looks to be some weird, difficult times ahead, and it's not a bad time to, like what dude says, often lick your ice cream, or what Joe says, take some profit, take some money off the table, and then maybe come back in when there's blood in the streets, because that's the game. That's what the elites do to us all the time. And so a lot of people didn't really like that. They're like, oh, no, this is all going to crash. It's in favor of the crypto and gold and silver right away. I'm like, maybe not. Again, this is uncharted territory for all of us. And we're trying to use all of our tools at our disposal, whether that's the look-sees, the remote viewings, the psychics, the dreamscape, and all of that, to obtain non-local information and to bring it forward for us. We're doing the best we can. But again, this is uncharted territory for all of humanity. Joe, talk about that, how even with you, with all of your skills, you're looking at all this and you're saying, whoa, this is tough even for me to ascertain here what's really going on. So can you imagine the people who are just now dipping their toe into the woo? What would you say to those guys right now, Joe?
You're on your own.
I knew you were gonna say that. I'm like, I set myself up for that one.
Like, yeah, there's just, yeah, I mean, there's so much, you know, everybody's being punched in the face from every direction. I mean, I'm telling you, Ruba Dude said months ago, you're going to see $8, $9, $10 a gallon at the gas pumps.
Yeah.
And again, depending on where you live in the US, we're there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what about the people who, which most people do, you've got to commute to work. You're going to get to a point, especially the lower wage people, where they're going, if I go to work today, I'm only going to be there, you know, this many hours of gas there. I shouldn't even go to work. It's like going to start costing me. It reminds me, like back in the day when when I first started mining Bitcoin, like in 2015, I was trying it out. And I bought all these video cards, like these stacks of video cards. I had 12 video cards running in these two monster PCs, like to do the hashing. And like 3 months later, 4 months, it was obsolete. Oh, it's done. It's now costing me enough electricity to run these machines that it doesn't make sense to mine. And essentially, we were mining altcoins and then converting them to Bitcoin because that was the best way to do it at the time. Mm-hmm. And even then, it just, it's like, okay, shut the machines down, sell the parts. So it's like, it's kind of like that. Like at some point, you got to say, well, this doesn't even make sense. Like I'm supposed to be going to work to make money. It's actually costing me more to go. Like, so you have that to deal with. You got the grocery store problems. You got the shortage problems, that are going to just keep rearing their heads. We got all these freaking food places burning down on fire. Like it's like at least 1 or 2 a week now. And I did find out that at least one of those, and someone in one of the Telegram groups said, we need to get together. You guys like start looking for this. And I never did check back in. And they go, but this particular one, it was one of the later ones. They are in the WikiLeaks Podesta email stuff as a contact to them. So a CEO of one of the food plants that burned down.
Imagine that.
So they said, hey, I think we need to look at other companies and find the CEOs and start searching the WikiLeaks emails, see if their names come up.
Dude, I was talking about this with Jim Willie a couple of weeks ago too, and he's absolutely with his research. He said it's not just one instance, 2 instances, 3. There's like he had a list of 30 already, and he'd stopped looking. And these people were
96.
There you go. These are all in collusion. They are pulling the plug. They're creating this storm, or what Cliff High was talking about, consequences of consequences. We're getting out to all of these convergences. But I just wanted to back up Joe for a second here. What you talked about the gas prices. Yes, Wudu was talking about that months ago. We're here now. Even here to the point where in Canada, we're seeing a lot of motorists stranded because they're running out of gas. Usually that's a certain percentage of year people run out of gas on the highway. It's already 50 or 60% higher than it was for the first month of this summer, and we haven't even done the whole year yet. So people can only have a little bit of their disposable income inside their tank, and they're trying to scrounge with $5 of gas here to get to where they have to go, and they're running out of gas. So, and it's just going to get worse. A lot of people told me this weekend, oh, look, the mainstream news told me the gas prices were going down. I'm like, okay. Bernanke also told you that the subprime was contained in 2008.
Yeah, and Jim Cramer just said he's never been more bullish on the stock market than now.
Right.
like this was a couple of weeks ago, and the thing's just freaking puked.
That's what I mean about this crazy time where people are looking at the news and they're like, what the hell do I have to figure out? And again, Bill Holter is like JC in a couple of days, maybe in a couple of weeks, but we're not a couple of years. We're in it now. It says you won't have to explain it. Everybody will know. Penny, while I have you on the screen now, let's look quickly at the 5 or 6 points that we ran out of time the last couple of days that you wanted to add to the audience. Let's build some road there, and then I'll have a Woo Dude and Joe comment or question on some of your points as well.
Okay. There was really, as I was reviewing, there was really just like 3. And I think I even touched on one of them, but didn't go into it all the way. I think the one of the things was I wanted to mention that manufacturing was going from bad to worse. I mean, really, really bad to worse. And that we're not producing anything. It looks like there's a turnaround next year, but that's between now and next year. We're between a rock and a hard place because there's not a good supply of anything, nothing. And I actually went shopping, grocery shopping the other day. I'm standing there looking at there's a wall where they have bread and jam and peanut butter and jelly and stuff like that. And it was probably, I'm going to say 75 to 85% empty. And then I got into the aisle where they have rice and macaroni and things like that. That was empty. I thought, okay, wow. There were plenty of bottles and cans of junk, but any real food, anything decent, So I think one of the points was manufacturing takes a steep dive over the next few months and then stabilizes at a very, very low rate over the fall and winter. And that was for not just food, but for cars, for gas and oil, for electricity, for everything. Didn't matter what it was. And then after almost a year, there's a slow but steady appearance of new ideas, new designs, new materials, new processes. And I'm interested in all that, just because of my engineering background. But there was no money, none. Nobody had any money. Nothing was organized. And yet everybody had this, new possibilities here, new stuff coming out. And the avalanche of new stuff coming out was really based on technology, amazing technologies. And that, I think, is really, that's one of the things I wanted to re-emphasize. I think I mentioned that the dollar had lost its reserve currency status. And then I think the other thing was that I saw a lot of people that were hungry in the U.S. It was really discouraging. And it wasn't just the U.S., it was Europe as well. Even though it looked like the Ukrainian war came to an end sometime around September, maybe it looked like, even though they're saying it's going to be a long war. I think the cabal, can we say the cabal? Can we use?
Yeah.
They want to make sure that we have war going. I think the Ukraine war is going to come to an end and the Chinese war is going to start. The Taiwan thing is going to start. I won't say any more there in case we get in trouble, but that whole thing, the goal is to keep the war going, keep war happening. And that brings people to this place where I think it's next April, people just don't pay their taxes. They're like, nope, we don't like what you're doing with our money. And that's if there is no coup. I was looking at the whole coup thing. Remember me saying the other night that it looked like it was so bad. August was getting bad. September was worse. October was worse. And November was even worse. And it didn't look like there was an election. And that there were elections in some places, but not in all. A lot of people just stayed home because they were afraid. A lot of places didn't have electricity. And it was a fake electrical shortage. And so it's like, oh, okay. And then I think on maybe Christmas Eve, there was a coup. Everybody was.
Like a Christmas present.
Yeah. Yeah. That today I was looking at that again, thinking, how strong does that look? Is that a strong possibility? And it was weak, but it was gaining. And I thought, okay, we'll see what happens. So we have a rough period to get to. And the money is no comfort. Even though some who have saved or who have bought gold and silver or got some Bitcoin and things like that, that's very little comfort because people are so hungry and they're so miserable. So, yeah, we have a rough period.
Okay, there's a lot there. I broke down a few of your notes points, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask two questions to Richard. One of them, Richard, let me get you on the screen here. Richard, you've mentioned this quite a few times before on our show. Again, watch Taiwan. Now, given what Penny is saying now, again, using some of the codes word here to watch our language, what do you see now? If you're going to take a pulse now, is there perhaps possibility there of what Penny is saying, that if the first theater of war in Europe is over with, that they will try finally to perpetuate it by maybe using this avenue as well? Do you see that playing out that way? Or is this maybe another strategic maybe move from the bad people to prevent that collusion that Cliff I was talking about between Russia and China to get to that $10,000 per ounce gold price? Richard, what do you think?
Well, I never change what I said. Months and months and months and months and months ago, I said it is going to happen with Taiwan. It's going to happen. End of story. So we can move on to other things. That is going to happen. They are going to take it. End of story. I don't waver on that. That's what I saw. And do you remember the visions when I was in the hospital about, and the war hadn't even started, about Putin being in the ring? We went 3 rounds. And I think the last time I had said, when he punched the guy in the head in the toaster, the dollar bills popping out. I mean, when we all look back at those visions, I don't want to go through them all again, but every one of them's happening.
Right.
All right. They're going after the head of NATO. Who is the head of NATO? Us. Okay. NATO's going to be split. Do you remember when I said about the earthquake with East and West?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's happened too. All right, so it's all coming down. This is a very serious time. Are we going to see issues in the streets? Yeah. Many times over, I said I saw fires in cities, but not all of them.
Right.
Not all of them. And we just listen. We all need to be smart here, and just try not to get in the middle. So this is weird. This is off, but I'm weird. All right, enough of that. But
Well, he's
Come
weird.
on, I didn't even say it.
Look at Santa.
He's like, I know what you were talking about. No. Okay, keep going with it.
Oh my God. But what Penny was just talking about, she went and she's looking at the food. I mean, we're seeing it huge too. And I'll never forget. Now this is off the wall. When I was mildly possessed, all right, and the spirit entered into me. Basically,
I'll mute your thing, JC.
What's that?
No, I was just having to mute his thing, his phone microphone.
And this entity had told me that, and what we're about to run through, that rice was the great multiplier. And that was the most important thing to get your hands on. And I guess when you think about rice, when you wet it, it really does expand out. And I remember talking to this guy. Are you sure you're not taking me over? No, I'm just borrowing you for a while. And I go, I don't even like rice that much. He says, oh, you can make rice balls. I said, how do you do that? Molasses. And he's going down the thing with that going, oh my God. I said, only my guys, right? But it can feed so many people. And I think if anything out there with people concerning about the food and the fuel, I mean, it's all happening. We're all watching it, okay? Get your hands on rice, because that spirit went over and over that it was a great multiplier. And I get it. You can use it with anything if you can find it. And it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
go to your Costco store as soon as you can while they still have it. Richard, I also wanted to ask you about the midterms. Penny mentioned something that perhaps there actually would not be some, or they would try to have them, but in many cases, a lot of people would be too afraid to go out in the streets. This is also similar to some of your past forecasts. Let's take a pulse on that now. Do you have anything you want to add to that, or more, or additions to that for the audience members here? What's going on with the midterms?
One of the things I've been trying to, everybody I talk to and read, and I've said it to you guys plenty of times over, that spirit has really pinpointed like the end of August going into September, October.
Yes.
And that this is a huge, huge time. And whatever happens like at the end of August gets bigger, like the 222 prophecy that's going on with us, and that it would roll, into September, October. And they said, and this is interesting. They said these words, it will ripple around the world. And it's so funny, because it's the words they keep giving me. And when I was reading somebody the other day, yeah, I got that breadcrumb. Ripple. It's going to ripple around the world. Ripple. And I went, shit. Is that why they're using that?
Interesting.
So
wow.
That's also something to think, because I don't get the words. They just give them and I spit them out. And they keep using that. And it's like the August, September, October. Does that mean it's a complete disaster what's going on? I'm not going to say that. It could be something incredibly good, But I know one thing, all right? Remember how I said that dimensionally, that logo that's on, and I know I talked to Joe a lot about the logo that's on the medical association with the snakes. Do you know what I'm talking about? That logo? That's what has been happening with a couple dimensions. And what I kept being shown with these things, that's it, okay? With the dimensions are intertwining and they're starting to come within each other. And some very strange things would happen. Now, I've been saying this, I don't know, the last 6 months, 7 months, they've been showing that more and more, we're going to see some really freaky stuff, that'll catch people off guard. But it's actually happening and it's very strange. So we're about to see some incredible thing. Even if you don't believe in the woo, you will.
The woo believes in you.
Did you like that?
Well, it's kind of what Bill Holter was saying the other day. You won't have to explain. You're going to see on every front, not just the financial, but the destruction of the politics, religion, and all that. Joe, let me get John here too. You had mentioned on our show prior this idea of, I don't want to say the word Penny Kelly used too many times here, but a replacement of sorts, a replacement of force, maybe politically speaking. Let's just use that word for now. And you just said, oh, Christmas. And we have a lot of boards and different alphabet, boards out there that we're talking about a very nice Christmas. A lot of people thought maybe that was last Christmas, but given now the time frame that we're looking at, does that line up for you now? Are you seeing some of those old boards and posts from those letters of the alphabet there? And that's all I'll say. But does that line up? Do you want to explain that to the audience a little bit, members, how maybe you're getting clarity on that point as well?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure. I don't know if you're wanting wooed still.
Okay.
You talking to me?
Yeah. No, anything like that goes. I haven't seen anything that's really specified, Christmas or anything like that. I still, if Penny saw that there might be this coup thing around that time, even though it was faded, but it was like, oh, it's getting a little power. Just because of the whole thing with those boards and the plan and everything and the timing of everything in the universe with these gigantic thousands of year cycles, which were like right in, it's like, I feel like it's baked in the cake. Like, yeah, it's got to happen. But at the same time, what if it doesn't happen right then? And we do have to deal with some shit a little bit into the next year. And then maybe it's delayed. There's always that. But I'm not getting anything directly telling me that the end of the year is the time. I will say that some treasure hunting information that came to me through my dreams gave me a time period window that says you could go back during this period of time or next year during this period of time. And I'm thinking, man, it doesn't sound, if I'm thinking what might be coming here from the sounds of things, boy, I don't know if I'm leaving, to go. But they were like, no, go. This is when you should go. So it's one of the windows is towards the end of next year, or excuse me, this year, end of this year, and then the other window would be like kind of sort of the beginning of next year. So I'm like, man, that's kind of moving the thick of it. But at the same time, if there was a coup, because if going back to Penny's look-see that she just did, she said, it was like December, January, I think, came, and it was like this calm, and she was like, what the hell caused that? What the hell happened? And she had to go back and look, and it was like, oh my God, one word came up, coup. And everyone was like, well, the military's oh, great, fine, fine. Now we can just, where do we go from here? But at least it was some kind of calm. So I thought, well, if that happens, again, that's kind of in the timeline where I could supposed to go. And I thought, well, I would feel more comfortable, to be honest with you, if they were in charge. And I'm like, oh, I don't even care about what's happening. I know it's all good. They'll handle it. So I'd be more than happy to travel at that time. But that's kind of the only thing I could.
Okay, let me bring Penny on that too, because, well, first of all, it's so ironic, and I won't use my French words here. Of course, I've been waiting for quite some time. We weren't allowed to travel even inside the country here, and now, of course, they're just lifting the bans. And what you're telling me is it's going to be such a shit show that I don't want to go anywhere else. And I'm kind of feeling the same way you do right now. I need to be close to home, my eyeballs on my kids and the family around me and the people who I have at charge to make sure they're safe, because weird times ahead. So I agree with you on that. I wanted to ask Penny here about what you said about January, February, and March. You explained these turmoil months here in the fall. I think Woo is pointing to the same time frame. But you said that in your look-see, when you looked out into January and February, something had changed. It looked positive. People were excited. We were getting together for something. Like you were saying, basically, whoa, something big happened. And then suddenly our whole mind shifted in 2023. And that reminds me of what Joe was saying here too, and what Cliff High was talking about for some time. He said that SOC, the self-organizing collective, or the army, or the good guys, the white hats, whatever you want to call them, at one point, they do come out in the open. And we all realize that we weren't fighting this fight along, that there was actually good military there working out, and we see them, and suddenly, like Joe says, they're out here. Okay, phew, I can breathe a little bit here. Is that what you see? Explain to the audience members here how you see those first couple of months of 2022, 2023. I'm trying here, like, the guys, this is doom and gloom. Give us a little bit of good news here, but there's a lot of good news if you run that scenario a little bit forward. Penny.
Yeah. It was really surprising. I was expecting, based on what I saw in November and early part of December, that we were going to be having full-scale civil war, or maybe we had been bombed by Russia or something. And then I thought, let me just skip ahead to February. And it was so quiet. People were kind of like taking a breath. I went a little bit into March. People were figuring out how to work together. They weren't traveling much. It was still kind of shaky in that way, but the sense of, oh, thank God, that was the feeling. And my immediate reaction, like I said, was, oh, what happened? What's wrong? And then realized, wait, something maybe is right here. And it just looked like something had happened in December, late December or early January, even over the holidays, maybe. And it took a while for some of that to filter down. Some people argued a little bit or complained, but by and large, everybody was really, really grateful. It was quiet. People were figuring out how to work together. There were still food shortages. There was still the big question was, now what? Where do we go from here? And I was going to look further, and I didn't have time. So it just looked like there had been some kind of turnaround. And it actually, when I went back to see what happened there, it was a group of people small group, but they said, that's enough. They stood up, took over the whole thing. Biden and gang were gone. I was just, okay. It was very, very quiet. So for whatever that's worth, now I don't know if it stays that way. There are some things that have to be really big things that have to be settled. We have to deal with the supply issue. We have to deal with the food issue. And we also have to deal with our security. If we don't have a military that's together, we're vulnerable. And there are people, I've heard a lot of stories about, the Russians and the Chinese are already in Mexico or Canada. They're getting ready to attack. I don't think that's their motivation at all. I think that they are ready to help. And I'm not sure how far that help is going to go, and I shouldn't maybe say that. But the help was, if the American people don't stand up and do something about this criminal regime, we are going to. And it would be a big shock for us.
Well, that's okay. Hold on a second there. Big Swear just had an interview with Dave at X 2022. I want to have all of your thoughts on this. He said something to the effect that first it was Mr. T who got the ball rolling, then it was Mr. P to get the next part rolling, and he's rolling that part now, and we're seeing the results of that. And then it would be Xi, President Xi. Do you see that collusion between those three forces? And how would that play out? Richard, what are your thoughts?
Yes, I do believe so. Because there's a bigger hand that's been running the world, and it's being run wrong. And the crossing or the changing of guards are happening. And I believe armies are getting positioned, surrounding us in a manner too, to say this has got to stop.
That's right.
And the whole world has got to come together here, and it's got to change. And it's the financial system, because we got bigger things that are coming our way. Okay, this is just one of them. That's why I kind of chuckle about it. We'll get this shit straightened out, then we're going to be dealing with some other things that we kind of have to adjust to in our lives. But yeah,
and that also ties in with what Cliff was saying, that perhaps Russia was also colluding with China here to get to that $10,000 per ounce gold price. I asked Bill Holter the same question the other day, and he said, I believe that's the case. What we're seeing right now, that first arbitrage opportunity when they pegged the ruble to gold, and now what's happening with China, Evergrande, like they're in trouble there too, and they're hoping maybe to supplant the dollar here. So the dollarization has already started. He was saying, "You're the last guy holding dollars, by the way." That's what Bill Holder was saying. Everybody else is ditching the dollar very, very quickly. So we're seeing that. Joe, let me ask you, and then I'll ask Penny as well. Joe, do you see that same kind of relationship with the third part here? As Bix was saying, first Mr. T, then Mr. P, and then Mr. G.
Well, remember, we had, was it Kissinger or so? Who was it recently that was badmouth, or maybe it's Klaus Schwab or one of these elitists that was badmouthing Z? Right?
Yeah.
Who was that? Was it Klaus?
George Soros.
Or Soros.
Oh,
So again, these are
story.
these are the only things you need to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
When you see that happen,
Mm-hmm.
you already know the answer. They must be doing something. George Soros and them have now found out. It's too late. Sorry about your luck. They're pissed off. So he has to go out and give his big speech to the world and all the big news organizations and run his nonsense stories right there. Soros calls China the greatest threat that open society's face today. Oh my gosh. You don't do that to an elitist friend. That's just, they don't do that. It wouldn't even be an issue, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, it makes you wonder, is it Russia, China, and we'll just say Trump working together in a certain way that is just, genius and completely strategic, and the cookie has to crumble the way it crumbles. Right. And then maybe looking back at the future, we'll go, oh my God, now we can all see what happened.
You just said now, like I have to agree with you, because again, every time the mainstream media hammers this new villain, you have to think, wait, are they actually the villain? Or are they my friend? And you never know. You never know, because we're not there. You're in Florida. I'm here in Ottawa. But I knew one thing. When I was in Ottawa, I was reporting from Parliament Hill. And much to my chagrin, I was looking everywhere for the terrorists, the white supremacists, all of that shit that the mainstream media was saying, and all I saw were a bunch of people giving hugs to each other, feeding the homeless, and singing "Kumbaya." So I was like, okay, the fuckers are lying. It's clear to me. I'm here on the ground. They're lying. So I don't know about what's happening in Europe and China, but it seems to me if they were lying then, they're probably lying now. And a lot of people watching the news got that click, at least here in Canada, the last couple of months, saying, wow, those fuckers are lying to us really bad. And it shows. Okay, let's move into another segment. All of us have been talking about this for quite some time. Let's see if I can bring it up on the screen here. This guy here.
Yeah.
Of course, this has been in the WebBot data for quite some time too. A lot of people are still looking at this and saying, wait, when do we get that moment where this is all out in the open? And Woo is on record saying when this starts happening, everything happens together, whether it's the financial, the politics, the ETs, the earthquakes, like it's all going to happen. So I wanted to do a turn of the table here and say, okay, let's take a pulse on this rapprochement, if you will, or this out in the open conversation about ETs, as Cliff was saying in the last couple of reports he was putting out in January and February. He was looking at late spring, early summer, that something would be happening, and we would be talking about ETs in a big way. Penny, what's on the radar here with these guys?
I don't know if I can talk very openly because that's too personal for me, but I am expecting that we are going to see more and more involvement. There's more and more. So let me back up a step. So when the jab first started, my people came to me and said, "Don't get that." And I said, "Why not?" And they said, "Because this is what it does." And they just stood there, referring to their body. And that was such a shock. I mean, there were several different kinds of people that I was talking to at that moment. I have other conversations that I've had with the little guys. They are us from the future, and they are not free. And it wasn't until they came back and said, we came back to try to prevent our own slavery. Once that jab was taken, this is what we became, and we have never been free since. We are here now working to help free you guys so that we can free ourselves. And that took me a couple of days before I said, "Oh, wow."
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, indeed. That's very profound, Penny. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to continue on this. Guys, watch the keywords here. This is very delicate. And I think it's important for a lot of people watching this also to maybe understand why all of this is happening. Because for the last 2 years, Cliff was saying, if you don't put the fact that people are trying to kill you into the equation, none of this will make sense. But if you realize that that's part of the agenda, at least part of it, then suddenly all of this shit makes sense, right? So what Penny's saying there too adds a big part to the equation for people to try to understand and explain this, not only to themselves to deal with the cognitive dissonance, but also to their friends and families and loved ones. Yeah. Okay, let me ask you, Richard. Again, going back on this idea of having this rapprochement, this being out in the open, what is it you can share with the audience members here in terms of perhaps how close this is on the radar for all of us?
As my ET buddies and I would say, that's an awfully probing question you're asking. You
guys want some bagels?
May I think about that one?
Or was it donut?
It was a donut. Oh, I forget. I think it was bagels. No, it was bagels in the show.
Hey, you know what? As Snip would say, when a shitstorm's happening, hey, if you can't laugh, I mean, come on. You know, it's all timing this, it's all happening at the same time. But it's all interconnected with the crossing of the planets and everything else. I mean, it's all coming together. This is the great change. It has to happen. And when it comes to, okay, I want to say this correctly and be careful. the amount of the population that's here, they wanted so much to bring it down where they can control it, because, now listen to this, there's a breadcrumb. Their masters are very pissed off at them because they're losing control of the herd. And so they figure the only way is to reduce the herd. You know, it reminds me of something. I want to go a little green here.
Okay.
I like my humor. Is, you know, what they've been talking about cow farts, I know how to solve it. Eat more steak, for God's sake, you morons.
You're saving the planet. Eat more steak.
Is that logical or what?
I think that's very logical.
See, you started it with that probing question. So,
dude, I gotta show you this. Talking about, I gotta show you this. Talking about eating more steak here in, like, things are absolutely batshit crazy here in Canada. They just keep adding and adding to the insult. Look at this one. World's largest cricket farm finishes construction here in London, Ontario. Again, by 2030, you'll own nothing. You'll be happy and you'll be eating crickets, for fuck's sake. You can't make this stuff up. These guys are pushing this. As you said here, they're on a timeline. Their bosses are angry. The remaining guys fighting, I think there's been a change of management too. It's a crazy shit show. Let's go back to that too, because here in Canada, we had this minister just a couple of days ago. This was actually crazy too. Like, again, you're saying, wait, what? We're in Canada. This guy was saying that actually, you guys don't have the right to own anything. I'm like, whoa, that's a crazy trial balloon. And I was watching a bunch of those, you know, people at the coffee shops. I'm like, nah, yeah, maybe we don't. I'm like, wow, do you know where this leads? Like, this leads to a really, really bad place unless you wake up really, really, really quick. You're on the screen now. Richard, what do you make of this whole rhetoric about not owning anything, eating bugs, not having any rights? When is this going to crumble? They seem to be, they lose faith every week. Hold on a sec. They're losing the narrative on everything. It's just so obvious that they're lying, but yet they keep lying. What the hell's going on, Richard? Any politician would say, okay, I'll stop lying for a bit. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to get hanged. Why are they keeping on this like so hard? It's do or die for them. What's going on?
Well, you just said it. Am I going to hang? Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I can't stay in my job. What are they going to do? Change it now? They're screwed. We got 3 different fighting. How can you say? All right, I want to say this right so we don't get in trouble. Okay, so you got oligarchs throughout Europe, all right, that created their team called NATO. Okay, they're all going to be divided up, and the funny part about this, you have central banks. We think they're all on the same team, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of animosity there. So you have a certain team over here that we think are connected to all the other ones. They're going, you know what? This is our opportunity to do a number on the cartel in Europe. So let's knock the euro down because, you know, these saps are going to go along with this. And, hey, they won't have fuel. Oh, shit, the economy of Germany, kiss that goodbye because you're not going to make anything. And, oh, yeah, let's see how long they hold on to this. And so the other team is watching them implode. And then you have another team that's going, oh, no, all this shit's going to be equalized. So everybody's going to everybody. But see, so many of us think, well, they're all together. No, they're dividing.
They're dividing. Okay,
and mark my words. You'll see the euro start to drop and drop and drop. And then you're going to see NATO getting divided going, screw you guys, man. My people are pissed off because we can't eat because you don't want me to get fuel over here. Oh, who controls the taps now? Remember that one, Snippy? Who controls the oil taps and natural gas? Oh, you want to play the game? Now, I got to say something since we've had this conversations. Sometimes Spirit comes in and gives me songs. Like the last one was Riders on the Storm. Remember that one? Is they keep singing to me right now, Bridge Over Troubled Waters. Okay, so I think we need to pay attention to whatever that means. And I think it'll probably come out very shortly. There'll be a meaning to it as we go a little deeper into this nightmare. Or is it a nightmare?
Life is but a dream. row your boat. Penny, let me bring this up on the screen. Richard just talked about the oligarchs here. This was in mainstream news. Putin saying unipolar order has ended. The West is heading for change of elites as Russia emerges stronger. People will say, man, that's not true. Oh, if you look at the ruble, it's absolutely getting stronger. It was hit, of course, as soon as the conflict started here, but it's gained all of it, and it's on its way up. And again, Jim Willie was on this saying, and it's going to continue to go up as long as they're on this gold standard here, and the rest of the countries are capitulating to that. So let's talk about this end of the unipolar world, what was in the robes in the books back in the 80s, and what you're seeing now in terms of this changing of the guard, and what we can do as the plebeians there to get out of the way while that's happening. Because as Cliff High was saying, danger, Will Robinson, don't win any stupid prizes here. Be smart about what's going on. Penny.
I know. Oh my God, you should repeat that at the beginning and end of every show. Putin is really taking over. Every day I watch reports coming out of Ukraine on where the Russians have moved and where the front is. And when you see what they're doing and how much they have taken over, they're almost done in the Lugansk and Donetsk area. And they formed this, what's called a cauldron. And
the land bridge.
Well, it's not a bridge. It's it's the way they surround the Ukrainian soldiers. And once they get them surrounded, so there's just this one little path out. They announce, here's the path, here's the surrender route. And if you don't take that, then within, I don't know, so many days or hours, they start shelling. And every day, Russia releases a report of how many tanks they took out, how many drones, how many planes went down, how many Ukrainian soldiers they killed. The Ukrainians are not announcing any of that, but the Russians are keeping track of all of it. And
okay, Penny, hold on a second. Penny, hold on a second. I got to stop you. Try to make the point without saying all of those keywords in a repeated fashion. So get to where you were going there. Yes, there's a change in the narrative, and the narrative doesn't match. We're understanding this. That again, I showed the land bridge here, saying how much territory they're capturing. You're talking about different tactics here, where they are being very successful. We could say that. Where does this lead, generally speaking, Penny?
It leads to the conflict being seen as a conflict between the U.S. and Russia, and we lose. And that is, it looks like it's over, maybe September, somewhere in there. I couldn't see it anywhere after September. It's like, okay, well, why, if we keep supplying the wrong kinds of tools, can I say that? Russia will respond in kind. Let's put it that way. They basically have all of the territory that they could have wanted. I think they're not going to stop, and I think they're going to keep going until Ukraine says, you know, here's the white flag kind of thing. And then it's going to be it's a sad thing. The Ukrainians have destroyed a lot of their own country by fighting. And that's, you know, it wasn't like Putin wasn't up front and clear for the last year before the whole thing started. Don't do this or I will that. Don't do that or I will this. And the US and the Biden group just kept right on pushing and pushing.
Well, here's interesting too. In the news, the public opinion polls now are showing that Europeans, when they look at this particular theater of war, they're backing now immediate peace as opposed to trying to win the no-win scenario. So it's starting to percolate into reality here that it is a no-win scenario. Just yesterday, the Ukrainian delegation was also looking for peace talks and then ended them abruptly. So there's a lot of political back and forth here. But as you're saying here, it appears to be close to the end of the road there. And what's interesting is we just suffered a huge defeat in Afghanistan. It was a huge black eye on the pretendency, right? A bunch of Americans getting stuck there, all of this thing. It was just horrible. And now we're facing this other one here. And this is where, like, Joe, let me bring you in here. Let's talk about some of those old Webbot data reports where we saw all of these military bases around the world where suddenly soldiers couldn't get back home. A huge shift had happened. The money was no longer good and accepted. These people were looked at as pariahs all of a sudden. This huge defeat that Penny is forecasting, and many others, actually, the polls are suggesting right now, even if the mainstream narrative wants to deny it, a big shift is happening over there. How does that tie into those old Webbot data? Remind the audience members who maybe have not heard of that stuff.
Yeah, this is just really interesting data set that was coming through. And I think it was in more than one report, actually. And it just said it looked like it was part of the death of the dollar meme that would trigger this. But it was like not just troops, but troops were in the data. So Americans and troops overseas trying to get a flight back home in that home country saying, yeah, we don't take the US dollar anymore. And so they couldn't even convert it into that currency. It was just like, we don't want nothing to do with it. Find another way. And then they're like trapped and they're stuck. And, we're all over here in the US going, how the hell are we going to get them home? They won't take our dollar. And of course, nowadays I'm going, oh my gosh, cryptocurrency.
Right.
Like that would do it because you can sell the crypto for any local currency, really. Right. But back then when that data was here, that there was no crypto stuff involved. Like crypto was never even a thought. Crypto was still too new, and some of that older data, really. So that's what's going to be happening. But I do think, personally, I think it's still going to be based on the death of the dollar. And I don't know if it was today or yesterday, I thought I saw Fed Powell or one of these idiots talking about, the US dollar on the international scene could be changing soon. And, and we need the central bank digital currency thing to kind of, get in gear before that happens. Like he was kind of hinting about it. So I'm going, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So
Powell was out a couple of months ago too, saying, "Oh, there could be room for more than one global reserve currency." They've been setting the stage for this here.
Yeah.
Let's go into hyperdrive. A lot of audience members have waited long enough. They're like, "Guys, talk about crypto." Okay, let's talk about crypto. Been a difficult week in crypto for sure. Cascading liquidations and Bitcoin below 18,000 today. I think it was 17,900. I think was the low today. As a daisy chain of margin calls, contagion sparked record selling. I was talking about this again this week with Bill Holter and Andy Sheckman, and they were of the opinion that what's happening right now also is smart money is sniffing out what's happening here, right? A lot of the big players are already out the table. So who's remaining, holding all of these IOUs and these over-the-counter derivatives? Those are the people at risk right now. And when we saw these last interest rate hikes, it created huge turmoil in those markets. So a lot of people are caught maybe flat-footed, and now suddenly they're selling their gold, their crypto, their silver to get out from underneath some of these margin calls, as this suggests. But there's something else happening. Let me bring this up here. Hold on a second. So there you go. Market cap. I wanted your thoughts on this first, Joe, and then I'll ask Penny and Woo Dude here to expand on this. We just lost about $1 trillion? I think at the height here of the total market cap.
$3 trillion.
Right. So here we are sitting right now at $900 billion. Okay. You and I have talked about this for years, that when this was going to blow, that we would see huge pressure on the downside on cryptos as well. We would have an aha moment and then a retransformation and then an upgrowth with select cryptos, and a lot of them would die, right? And a lot of people said, oh, no, that's not happening, JC. When the stock market drops, all that money will funnel and then grow directly into the other markets. And we're like, I don't think so. We're going to see pressure on everything. We're seeing it now. You and I have been talking about this for 2-3 months now. And people who took our advice, maybe took some profits a couple of months ago, are like, okay, thank God I did. And now I can wait and see when I want to get back into the system. So let's talk about that. A lot of people are saying, okay, well, I'm out now, or I took a little bit of profits. I've got some dry powder. I'm expecting a couple of rough months here. I've got my stores of food and all that stuff. when do I get back into this? Where do I get back into this? Bix Weir was saying the other day, actually, right now, buying silver is the better deal than buying crypto right now at this day. That's his opinion. He said that on my show. What do you think? Let me start with you, Joe. How do we navigate this?
I love Bix, but it's like my arch nemesis of advice. And I only say that because I get the information in my dreams, and they have more than shown it's accurate. Stupid information that I get laughed at first is like, holy shit, that son of a gun's going to be right.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask. I've never really lately in any kind of time frame been asking about gold or silver. I haven't. My focus is like, well, what about crypto? What about crypto? And somebody's typing. Whoever that is, can you mute?
No, I just muted Penny. That's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, that's all right. I was like, what does that click? Is that typing? So, you know, I got a dream one day. This is not too long ago. You know, like I'll say maybe 2 months ago. I'm not sure. And I just quickly saw, I'm staring up at a chart, like a live chart, and it's showing me gold and silver. And it started with gold. And I can't say for sure, but I feel like I almost feel like pretty sure it was like $1,800 or $1,900. So that was like when it started. And then I'm just watching it just absolutely crash. And I saw the price. But then I immediately forgot it, and then they went into silver, and I saw that one, and I'll just say it because I've already posted this on Patreon, the actual number. Single-digit dollar prices, you know, like single digits in U.S. dollars for silver. Single digit. And I just could not remember the gold. Oh, you're muted too, woo dude, sorry. And what were you saying? What was your response? Woo dude? Oh, he's muted again. Hang on.
Okay, I'm muting everybody here, trying to remove the noise. I think it's Richard's microphone that's crackling like that also. So I'll get you, Richard and Penny, to answer to what Joe is saying here. Just hold on a second. Joe, finish your point. Go ahead. And I'll mute everybody else while you're talking, Joe.
All right. Yeah, so all I can say is I feel comfortable saying gold will drop into the hundreds, whether that's 900, 800, 700, 600. I can't say because they showed it to me, and it was almost like you're not allowed to remember this one for some reason. But it was like devastating. And I go, holy, shnikes. I'm like, what the? And then they blink it over to silver. And I watch it go down, just similar kind of looking chart as gold, as far as if you're just looking at the chart. And I see this single, very specific number, and that's what it is. And I go, oh my God. And that's when I wake up and I go, they're going to destroy everything. They're going to destroy everything first. And I thought, well, of course, all this fake, phony money, fake paper contracts, derivatives, all this bullshit, commodities, futures contracts, ETFs, like all this nonsense, leverage stuff. How do you get rid of it? Destroy it first. Because if the prices go higher, all these big players get taken out. If the prices go lower, it's way more easier to manage. So they're going to destroy it, and they do it with the paper markets anyways. It's all paper. It's all fake numbers, digits, people playing this game, these stupid contracts, paper contracts. But I think it's after that, again, let's implode this whole thing and then, okay, sweep that away. Okay, well, now where the price is going to go. And then all of a sudden, those mechanisms, let's say, that used to set the price, that they did use to drop everything, well, that just went away. Like, for example, Tether, USDT goes away, implodes. Market, again, market's going to go down on that, but then it's gone. Now the mechanism's gone. All of a sudden, Dick Algar, $288,000 Bitcoins here. And God only knows what the other coins, XRP and everything else.
What you're describing here is a breaking of these systems and also levers of control so that we get to the other side where there's true
price discovery,
right? Yeah. And that's when the whole ball game starts. So, okay, so that's very good. You added that because other people are saying, wait, you're saying it's going to go. Oh, okay. One question I want to ask you very quickly, your response, Joe. If silver goes down in the single digits, will you be able to buy it in the single digits? Do you have to wait for that?
I ask myself, and I say I don't have an answer. They didn't show me, but I just because again, you see the premiums now. Even they're still, higher than they've ever
Here
been.
in Canada,
So, like,
on a silver maple, that's $22 or whatever. It's just $9 to $10 premium on that coin right now. So you're talking about $30, $35
right.
silver.
So maybe
here.
it's still $20,
Right.
to buy a dang, 1 ounce silver coin.
Listen, it's hard to get silver
now.
now. I can just imagine if it was in the single digits, and a few whales just decided to put, an allocation of their pension funds in it, it's gone very quickly. Okay, let me get a penny on that too. We've talked about this scenario of everything crashing for then eventually something better to come up, where we're looking at a more organic way of using the human economy, the exchange of service, the exchange of value. We have the Webbot prediction of perhaps Veritasium having a role to play in that, or Reggie Middleton, where the government comes back hand in hand, as it were, to help rebuild this new economy. How do you see that? How did the robes see that also? Explain that to the audience members.
He said the money will all be digital, period. There was no cash. There was no dollar. There was none of that. Everything had been revalued. And I want to add something to what Joe just said. The other day I was doing something. I can't remember exactly what. And I see this little headline that guy, what's Buffett?
Warren Buffett, yeah.
Got into silver market. And quite a bit of money into that. I was like, I don't know, $2 billion or some ridiculous amount. And my instant gut reaction was, what's he doing with that kind of money invested in silver? And as soon as I asked that question, I got an answer that I really didn't understand, but maybe Joe just answered it for me. It was that the big banks needed another player so that they could drop the price. And the only one that was willing to play was Warren Buffett. And so I thought, okay, silver is going to go down. How much is it going to go down? And I didn't get any answer. But Joe just said single digits. The feeling that I had with that answer, that Buffett was in the game in order to give an alternate player of some sort. I don't know how the game works. But the fact that he was in it, in order to be able to keep the price down, when I asked how low is it going to go, it felt like it was really low. I was thinking $10, $12. But if it's single digits, that's pretty amazing. So,
you know what's amazing, Penny? Just to add to what you're saying, and you're blowing my mind right now. I had Bix Weir and Julie from Maison Jupiter. We were doing the astrology of silver in this last episode just a week or two ago. And Bix was saying that he's figured out also, to the best of his knowledge, all of his research, and also including the work of Jenny Moonstone, that Warren Buffett was indeed that third unknown player that they added to one of these categories to obfuscate what's happening right now on the silver market. Now, his opinion was that Warren was in there as a good guy to finally switch over, buy over his soul, break this mechanism to eventually let it loose. Now, perhaps the way to do that is to bring the silver down first and break everybody's back. That I don't know, but he was very adamant that all arrows were pointing, in fact, that he was that third player you're just talking about now.
Okay. Well, let me just close by saying the other day when I was putting out the look-see, I didn't say anything about cryptos at all, but I saw it was going down to 20,000, and I'm looking at that thinking, 20,000? And then I see, well, maybe between 15 and 20. And today, when it went down, it was not a shock for me. If it goes down to less than 15,000, I'll be shocked. So hang on, guys.
Okay, let me bring Richard on that. Richard, I have it on some pretty cool, fantastic guys also who said, JC, just so you know, Bitcoin could test 4K again before all this is said and done. We're sitting at 18 today. What are your thoughts on this whole timeline of things, how far down crypto, gold, and silver goes before it goes higher, and then share with the audience members the numbers you're actually seeing past this hump here for silver, gold, and let's just say Bitcoin for now, and maybe XRP. Go ahead, Richard.
Okay. Well, I do believe we'll go below 12,000 Bitcoin on this run right here. I want to say something about the silver scenario. Is okay. I don't want to get us in trouble. So, all right. So this is the way that I was getting it. I'm going to try to say it right. Warren Buffett, for a long time, has been used by the feds in a way. Okay. If I say something too wrong, please say something. And that he's being used the same way for silver, because what it's going to be worth is going to be huge. So they need an outsider to do the buying for them, but they'll take care of them, all right, in order to do this. Now, understand that the system that's controlling over what we hear with the U.S., they really do want the gold standard, even though you're looking like they really don't. No, they need to break Europe up, all right? And the reason that they want the gold standard is because our country is probably one of the largest gold holders in the world. Same with Canada. Okay, I'm talking in the ground. Now, between, okay, maybe I can say JP and Warren, they're trying to become the largest silver holders in the world also. So when the system comes in, we will already have the backing. Did you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, without getting in trouble. See, Penny's a bad girl. She gets in trouble all the time. I'm trying to say this in a way that it's like they're making it look like they don't want that, but they really do.
Yeah.
And Mexico does too, because they'll be worth just so much money because of their silver.
Yes.
And so there's an adjustment that's going on here, and it's trying to be taken out of the hands of certain cartel owners. I guess that's the best way to do. And everybody's getting positioned in that manner, if that makes sense. And like I said, with cryptos, I'm not doing anything until after June the 22nd. I told you that the 2-2 parable continues. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, it turns into a big snowball. And every time that they say this shit happens. So
hold on a second. You just said June 22?
Yeah.
Okay. The summer solstice is on the 21, and a lot of people are seeing huge energetic shifts starting on the 21, which would make the 22nd here the first day of this new market under this new energy. So there's something to that date as well. Wow. Okay. Of course, it ties into the 222 stuff that you guys have been talking about. But okay.
Well, yeah. Well, it's real serious. If you follow the parable all the way back to where it all started on with Joe. Channel and go forward with me ending up in a church, all this shit.
Yeah.
It's real. It's just, can we wrap our nut around it? And back in May, when Joe and I were doing a stream, that I brought that up, that they told me after the incident of May the 8th, and I needed to know what it was. People were sending me stuff all over the world, and then I saw it. And that was the red skies. Okay, and throughout China, and they said that's an omen, and then they said the 2-2 parable continues, and I went, oh shit, the next one is June the 22nd. Okay, these are big things. So I'm sitting back on the market. You know, I got out a little while ago, and I'm waiting for this. Like I said to Julianne the other night, I said make sure you sell. I think it was last week when we had to drop. I said, we're going to have a big drop. It's going to happen really quick. And I said, and I'm not going to do anything. The only thing that I sit on it is my XRP. I won't touch it. It's kind of like silver. You might think, oh, well, if I get rid of it now at 22, I can buy it back at 6. Don't you freaking do that.
Absolutely not. And
Don't.
John Williams was on my show too, and he said they're going to come up with all these schemes to get silver from you. Do not, in any under circumstance, let that silver out of your hands.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Joe, let me get you on here. Thank you so much, Richard. I appreciate that. But Joe, let's talk about this timing because, okay, there's weird shit going on. And as we're just talked about in the silver, it's not the time to get out of the silver to perhaps try to get it at a cheaper price. I'm very wary of being able to buy silver in silver digits. I'm like, I'm not big enough. I'm not part of the club. I can't just walk up to the window and say, hey, I want the silver this price. Everybody's going to laugh at me. I don't think that's going to happen for myself. Maybe it will. But let's talk into crypto. Is there that possibility of these lower numbers, the 4K maybe that some people are saying in Bitcoin, or the 10, 12K as you guys are talking about now? Can we time that in there? Do you really think we can play this game at this late stage of the things? And I'm talking for the people who are not in the market at all. They haven't had their crypto wallet set up or the exchange set up yet. Should they wait, or should they at least start getting something going here while all of this turmoil is happening? What would you say to that, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, if you have nothing, there's always risk of, well, this drop happened so fast, you missed it, now we're on the way back up. But it's like, if you don't have any, it kind of doesn't even matter where the market's at that particular time. Like, you should at least have something to start with. But again, looking back at history, it's always like, man, these big rallies are very tiny in time.
Yeah.
1-2 months, it's over. And then it's just the stair-stepping down thing. So you could have bought even in the stair-stepping down after the huge rally, and you'd still be pretty far down right now in your portfolio, even after the huge rally. Like, God forbid if you bought up there, you're in pain right now. But you're probably still in pain if you bought even the stair-stepping down, because it was like, well, that was just a few months ago, and it's way down from then. So I don't know that Bitcoin could go down to 4K or that kind of low, or 10K or 12K. I've never got a price, as far as I can remember, from Spirit about Bitcoin. And they've never showed me Bitcoin. But in that one dream, I got those prices in January of XRP and Ethereum at 408, XRP at 20 cents. I was literally, like we talk about the panic to own crypto. Of course, I've already knew I owned crypto in the dream. Like, I felt, it's like real life now at the time in January. So I'm like, oh, there's John Kim. He's freaking out on his phone. What's going on, John Kim? Oh my God, Ethereum is $408. I'm like, are you effing kidding me? It was just $4,000 recently. He goes, it's 408. I go, what's theta? He tried to type it in 3 different times. He couldn't type it in right, so I never saw the price. What's XRP? It's 21 cents. I go, oh my God. I immediately go to grab my phone. I have to, in the dream, I'm panicking to get XRP. I didn't give a shit about theta. I didn't give a shit about Ethereum. I just wanted XRP. So I'm like, $30,000 right now. And I go, whoa, check your bank account, dude, before you just pull a trigger like that. And I go, oh yeah, I probably should. That'd be kind of smart, huh? So I go to switch the app to my banking app, and I look down. Now it dropped another penny. Now it's a 20-cent XRP. And now I'm like, oh my God, I got to get it now. Hurry up. Like, get the stupid banking app open so you can make sure you have the money to do this. And then I woke up right there. So to me, there's something going on here. There's like Spirit usually does with me. It's not just one, here's your answer or whatever. It's like, here's the pricing, but guess what? There's another piece of information in there. Well, what's that? You only wanted XRP.
Yeah.
You didn't give a shit about anything. Although I asked for theta, they wouldn't even show me the price. So here's another thought. I haven't even mentioned this yet because it just hit me. Maybe I couldn't see the price of theta because that's one of my favorite coins. That's, to be fair, that's I think still my biggest holding is theta.
Right.
But I wanted more because I paid back I paid off the house and all the stuff I own. I paid it off mostly using theta, and then of course the free T fuel we got. So, but I'd like to get all that back. But I'm going, oh, do you really want to? Maybe you just want XRP now. So that maybe that's what they were showing me. Like, we're not even going to show you the price of theta because let's just pretend it's going to be really freaking good, really low. Like, let's just say theta goes back to like 15 cents or something stupid. Oh my God, I'd want to buy all I could get. But they wouldn't show me the price, so that I don't have that knowledge. So maybe they're doing that on purpose to say, just get your effing XRP. It's the one. It's going to make the move first, perhaps. Maybe the rest of cryptos go on a little lull for a while, like after all this. In XRP, the lawsuit settled, which we already know it's all a big show. It's settled. The thing runs up. The announcements are made October, November. Oh my God, there's deals happening everywhere. Of course, like Woo said, they already signed it. He already saw it in a dream or a vision. And now it's public knowledge, and now the thing's going up. It's $10, it's $20.
Okay,
it's $50.
hold on. We need to set up the conversation for XRP. We can end on that. I'll ask all of you to recap that and give some maybe expectations here moving forward, because a lot of people in the chat are saying XRP, like explain to me why XRP is so on one hand hated and on another hand absolutely loved. This is, you hate it or you love it. It's going to crash or it's going to go to the start. Like, this is a hard one for a lot of people to understand. Before we get into that, folks, again, Beyond Crypto Panic to Own crash course. Joe and I put this together to help you guys out. If you don't have your wallet set up, your exchange set up, now is the time to do that while there's a lull. Every time there's this huge panic, these exchanges are down, you can't get in, it takes days to get verified, and you can't buy your products. Please, 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 just educate yourself. You don't have to buy anything, don't have to buy your cryptos. At least get your stuff ready so that when you want to do it, you're set up to do it safely in a good way. This is what these courses are about, and we have these security addendums also if you're interested in that. So that's on beyondmystic.net/pay-per-view. Now, also, if you're looking for silver, again, a lot of crazy things happening in the market. The supplies is tight on some places. These are the Beyond Mystic coupon codes and discounts afforded to you, the audience members, by Miles Franklin. You can find that at beyondmystic.net/silver. And yes, also the Beyond Mystic bars, both of them are open to the general public at large. You can find that again on that same page. And finally, if you're on the Canadian side of the equations, a lot of Canadian subscribers, this is the new special for this week at $7.99 over spot, by the way, for these Canadian maples. Most Canadian suppliers are out, and if they have them, they're at 10 over spot. This is an absolutely great deal for you guys.
I was like, gold's $2,400. Oh, it's Canadian.
Canadian, yes, Canadian. Okay, so this, of course, Canadian members, you guys realize the price. But anyways, these are great deals here for you guys. mfbullion.ca. This is where you can get that. Okay, let's start. Oh, you're on the screen, Joel. Let's get into this XRP thing. We're an hour and a half into it. I'd like to get this show done under 2 hours for everyone here. Joe, explain briefly what happened with XRP, what this lawsuit's all about, why people hate it, why people love it, and then we'll get into these parables. I'll ask Richard also his take on where this is going, the dreams, the handshakes, the credit card stuff that he had talked about in the past, and I also want to end with Penny on that one, seeing as the Robes had forecasted a long time ago everything was going to be digital. I wonder if perhaps XRP is part of that, so we'll ask Penny on that as well while we're on the show. So Joe, set this up for us.
Yeah, so, and Voodoo can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think the whole 2-2 parable started when my wife first got that dang 2-2 XRP dream. Remember, I don't think it was anything before that, and we weren't quite sure what it meant at the time. And then all of a sudden the market starts going down, and he's like, "I'm not psychic. If this isn't going to 22, I just sold everything." He got 40 something cents, and I wake up the next morning, it's like 31 cents, and I go, "I'm going to sell." Evelyn's like, "No, it's too close." I go, "No, it's not. 30 cents to 22 cents is a big drop, man." She's like, "Just don't know. It's too risky." I go, "All right, fine. I'll listen to you." Of course, it backfired, but it's, doesn't matter. I make it up elsewhere, So I'm like, "Hey, I listened to you. You can't say I didn't listen to you." So anyways, it started there. But then all of a sudden, and what triggered that was this lawsuit. And I think it was December of 2020, if I recall, when this really started happening. End of November, December, something like that, or maybe beginning November. And the Security Exchange comes out. XRP is a security. We're suing you. We would settle, but blah, blah, blah. And then behind like the blackboard, there's like, it says 222. Like there's all this symbolism on the blackboard behind the guy talking. Like it was a setup from day one. XRP is not going to be found as a security. It's going to either be thrown out. Something's going to happen. They'll just win. It's just dragging. Again, it's not going to go in the favor of the SEC. So they did this, and once that happened, all of the United States exchanges shut off everybody access to buying or selling XRP. Yeah. But you can hold it. If you had it already, you can still hold it in the exchange account. So they don't want any of us messing with it. Again, like the news thing we talked about.
Well, none of us plebeians, small people. No, the big guys.
Yeah. So like we talked about earlier with the news. Well, did they say, are they saying that guy's a bad guy? Yes. Well, then he's probably a good guy,
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Is the SEC suing XRP over the? Well, then XRP is the one. That's the one right one to get. They don't want you having it. I want it. So that's kind of how it went. Woo dude, got his visions and stuff, but now Big Weird doesn't like XRP because he thinks it's
hold
a
on. I know. Okay, I'm setting this up for you guys. So we'll get to Richard and his views. Bix Weir and Cliff High are not too keen on XRP. Robert is asking here, JC, please ask JSNIP if he's aware that Cliff is saying stay away from XRP because in Cliff's view, when the banks go down, XRP goes down.
Joe, yes, I'm well aware, but I know what my spirit guides have showed me, and I would be a effing moron to not listen to them at this point, to be fair.
Okay. Well, that's your answer. I love that. Everybody has their own opinions, and we are sharing our opinions here in a fair and adult manner on the show. Richard, I have to say that because it's triggering to some people, just so you know. I get some weird emails sometimes. Okay, and I love everybody's opinion. Everybody's allowed to speak here. So, Richard, where do you see this parable, this 222? How does it play out? Talk about those famous dreams, about those agreements, the credit cards and all that, and now catapult us into the fall and into the spring. How does this all translate, or how does this all roll out? In your view, at this point in time, if you take a pulse, what are you seeing?
Well, we'll go back to the 2-2 started with Joe's wife, okay? And the parable just kept going through there. It was a very strange thing. And, at that time, Spirit was giving me the numbers and the times of cryptos, like down to the hour or the minute. And it was getting very, very weird. And I remember it clearly that they said XRP, they gave you the number of 888. And we're all thinking, $8.80. Okay. But it went up to, what was it, 88.8, something like that. And then it starts dropping. I'm going, what's up with this? Now, all the people that follow Joe started sending emails. I saw 222 over here. I saw this over there. And then I remember one night, a psychic called one of Joe's friends. I think it was a psychic. It was a girl. I just went by a warning sign, and it had something about 222 on it. I went, all right, enough is enough. And that's when I made a laugh. I said, I'm no freaking psychic if I can't figure this shit out. I said, it's going to 22. And I sold. I sent him a text, but he went to bed early. And I said, I'm out. I ended up selling, and everything's fine. And then it starts dropping more. And Joe would call me up. It's at 35. I'm loading the boat. I said, you got to get some. And I would laugh. No, it's going 22. He says, you're crazy. Well, I am. Okay. And then it would go a little lower. And then I remember the night. Okay. When I was talking to Julianne on the phone, God bless it. And Spirit said, get off the phone with her now and go to Coinbase and press the frickin' button. And I did. And this is supernatural. And I took a photo of it, right, Joe? You still have it? And
I still have it somewhere. I do have it.
And I bought it at 2222. Come on. All right. Really? So no matter what, I got to follow this to the end. But what I kept saying, and they were saying over and over again, they all need discernment on this, that it's much bigger than they all know. And remember that I would come out and say, this is big. And then 22 started going everywhere. It went apeshit. To the extent I ended up at that church. And you guys all heard that story. So what I'm thinking, Joe, what if this son of a bitch comes down to 222 again? Wouldn't that be the coolest thing in the world?
I mean, you pulled the trigger by pressing buy now. Well, you can't even set the price. You just put an order in, and then you wait 10 seconds, and it's thinking, okay, and then it sends you a message. Here's what we got you at this price, and it was 22.22 cents, like 22.22. It's down to the thousands plate or whatever.
Yeah, that's just weird shit. So you have to you know what? You just got to look at this stuff. This is way bigger. But then the parable kept going. Things kept going on. And I mean, it's happening. And you can't discard this. I don't care if somebody doesn't like something or whatever. That's okay. And meaningful with the knowledge that they may have on it. But you know what? There's something.
We've got a donk.
Yeah. I have a donk. He tells me everything. Yeah.
Richard, very quickly, for the folks who might not have heard some of our previous interviews last year, talk about this dream where you saw XRP, some of these suits, the agreements, the credit card, just so that they know, and then tie that into maybe what's about to happen here in the next couple of months.
That was not a dream. That was a wide awake vision. And what they showed me were two bankers shaking hands. And one of the bankers held a credit card machine. Okay. The other banker was holding a credit card, and it was embossed, and it said XRP on it. I go, son of a bitch. And then
embossed in gold, and they told you later, like, why do you think it was gold?
You're right. And then I don't know. It might have been 4 months later. Joe found an XRP credit card. It's like they came out with one. I went, holy shit! But what I understood from the vision, again, this was not sleeping. Okay, is that this is going to be used international to move things, kind of like what a credit card would do. A credit card, when you think about it, it's a digital asset that you're able to move anything you want. In other words, you could buy anything you want on a credit card, correct? Anything. All right. So it's not like one item. Well, it's used for money. No, not really. It's used for everything. And that's what I believe XRP is all about. And it's way bigger. And then when I had that other vision, which was several months ago, where I usually never ask. Okay. I never ask. I said, can you show me something on XRP? And they did. And they showed me a bridge, a giant bridge. And people were walking to and fro on it. And they were, they could be Spanish speaking, they could be whatever, all walks of life. And I'm watching, and they were showing me different sized people. So you bring it all together with discernment, you realize that XRP is going to be used for some sort of a bridge that'll be used by, it doesn't matter if you're a small person or a big person, and that the bridge linked one continent to the other. All right. So I honestly believe it's not only going to be used for what we would think gold, silver, or money or products. I think it's also going to be used to move cryptocurrencies. And this also is this thing about Ethereum. Okay, I still believe something's going to come out, is what I'm being shown. And a long time ago, and even now you look at the numbers, you go, oh, you're freaking crazy. Yeah.
Now when you say something coming out on Ethereum, that's negative.
Yeah.
Right. Just to be clear.
And that you're going to find out that was the banker's coin, is what I kept getting, that they charged an enormous amount of money for you to move your cryptos around, and the bankers took your money. All right. But a long time ago, and I said this to Joe, is I said, I know this is going to sound weird, but I saw the two leading coins. One was Bitcoin. Do you remember, Joe, what I said the number two was? XRP. I can't change what I get. And you know what? One thing about me, if I'm wrong, I'll own it. Oh, well.
And when he says leading coins, for example, we're talking coin market cap. The first big daddy is Bitcoin, like it always is. The second one will be XRP.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that XRP is, $200,000 with Bitcoin, meaning just the market cap. Yeah, it'll be the second coin.
Wow, that's
it's crazy.
Okay, thank you for that, Richard. And you might sound crazy, but it doesn't mean you're wrong. I love saying that. Of course, we all sound crazy to a lot of people, but suddenly we're more right than wrong as of late, because all of this conspiracy nonsense is coming to be fact more and more every day. Hey guys, if you wanted to reach Richard, you can do so here at woowoodude.com. You can book a reading with him there, as well as with the amazing Julianne. So that's woowoodude.com. Penny, let's look at XRP also. Generally speaking, again, the robe is about this digital money, but let's talk about this bridge here in the next couple of months, where we're going in this transition. What do you see? What do you want to add to that conversation?
I want to share a couple of things. I might have mentioned this quite a long time ago, because it happened quite a long time ago, but I had read Cliffy's Don't Buy XRP. It's a bad thing. So I was not interested in it at all. So I get on Coinbase and I buy little tiny bits of Bitcoin, when I can, and little tiny bits of Ethereum. And somehow, I don't know how to this day, somehow I turned on, or somebody or something turned on, a weekly purchase of XRP. I had no idea that was happening. And so one day I get my phone and I'm looking, and I always only look at my top 3. I don't look at, because I don't have much else, but I happen to scroll down and I see thousands of XRP. And I'm like, oh no, what the hell? And I just freaked out and thought, how did those get in there? That must be a mistake. Somebody has hacked me and put some bad crypto in my thing. So long story short, I figured out that somehow, and I do not know how, I was buying some amount every week. So then I thought, okay, well, I don't know what to do with this stuff. Cliffy says it's bad. So I didn't do anything at all. I just let it sit there. But maybe a month or 2 later, I thought, why did that happen? And I immediately get this answer. And the answer was, you're going to need this. This is going to be part of the new banking system. And I thought, oh, okay. My thought at the time was that it was going to be part of the central bank digital currencies, and that maybe it would be something that would facilitate more cryptos. Whether it lasts or not doesn't matter. But that's I have some XRP. I think that was not. I have no idea how that happened. You don't just accidentally buy something. Right. So I think somebody was looking out for me, and I think we'll see what the role of XRP is going to be. I have long thought that it would be used. It was Richard or JSNIP just said something international. That was part of the impression. Like when you get an answer, you usually get these accompanying impressions with it. And it was that it would be used all around the world. And so I thought, oh, it's an international something. I'll leave it at that. I think XRP is maybe not a bad thing. I don't know how long it'll be good for, but it's good for something.
It only needs to be good for as long as we need it.
Yeah,
to sell off and buy our ranches and properties and communities that we want to build and all that.
Helicopters, things like that.
Yeah, I need an upgrade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Folks, you can find the lovely Penny Kelly, of course, here on Patreon. You can support her there at patreon.com/Penny Kelly. And you can also find her on YouTube with a lot of the free content there. And finally here on Consciousness on Fire or pennykelly.com. Penny, while I have you on the screen, I'll do the last round here. And Joe, I'll get to you next, and then Richard at the end. Last words of wisdoms here. I'm going to be off here for a couple of days here as I take a few days off with the family here for summer. But last words of wisdoms. June 22 is coming up real quick. There's a lot of turmoil already. Bill Holter was talking about this triple witching effect probably this Sunday, where we could wake up to weird shit on Monday morning. what do you say to just generally speaking here? How do we navigate here the next couple of days? Is it about our frequency? Is it about hugging your kids? What would you say at this point?
I think it's just about taking a deep breath, hanging on, keeping your eyes open and your ears open and your mind open and navigating. You know, this is a time to gather energy. You are going to need it for the fall.
Okay, very good. A lot of psychics are saying that too. Take this downtime right now to recoup your energies and get ready for what's about to come. Great advice. Penny, thank you so much. Joe, let me bring you up on the screen. Of course, guys, you can find Joe here at patreon.com/JSNIP4. There he gives those crypto woo-woo calls with Richard here on the middle package. And if you need a little extra hand holding, getting your stuff together, maybe having a second look on your portfolio, you can also sign up there for the JSNIP4 Elite package, where Joe will be one-on-one with you here to help you out if you need be. There's about 35 spots remaining. Holy shit. Got a big community there, Joe. And of course, you can find him also here at YouTube. This is the second channel here. He was just clipped as I was here a couple of months ago. So please do go remember to like, share, and subscribe there to help out Joe. So Joe, last words of wisdom also here. How do we navigate all of this? And what do you want to say also about your Patreon and how people can support you there?
Yeah, no, I mean, you kind of nailed it there with the Patreon. You know, that middle one is $20 a month, and that's where I post all the stuff, the information I get. And sometimes we're waiting a little while to get the information, but there's nothing happening in the market. Spirit already told me what they need to tell me, so why keep asking them, give me something, give me something, give me something? We already told you, just wait for the numbers, you know? So people sometimes get a little impatient. Well, Joe, you know, like, just wait, relax, it's coming, you know, like, it's all good. But that's where I post the stuff. Sometimes Woo Dude will get something. He'll call me. Spirit just showed me this coin. You know, okay, well, I'll tell people, hey, he just got this. And usually when he gets it, it's a timing factor, like soon. If he's calling, it's happening soon, whatever the hell it is. So that's always a good thing. Yeah, so just, you know, again, with XRP, you know, and some people think it's a banker's coin. I can't support that system. You know, like, again, like Bix, you know, he's very vocal about it. And I'm just like, but okay, think of the golden train that's going by, and it is just, you just stand close to this train and just reach your hand out and touch it a little bit, and you will scrape a small fortune, maybe a large fortune off the train. The train is coming, whether you're there or not. Yeah. And if this is going to be ultimately part of, in the main, let's say, webbing of the new financial system across the world, you don't have a choice whether this thing exists. Not only that, you won't be able to live and operate unless you are a part of it. You're not going to have a choice. So it's like we all have inside information, so to speak, that came from Spirit ultimately, you know, that's saying, get this coin. Penny Kelly, we're pushing the button behind the scenes for you, young lady. You know, you're getting these damn coin whether you like it or not. You know, and believe me, Cliff told me plenty of times, the data shows when the bankings implode, you know, the XRP is going to go with it. And I'm going, well, then maybe XRP makes this gigantic, enormous move before that time, because why would Spirit give me that information for us to fail?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. And if it's a bad thing, Spirit's not, you know, Spirit's not sending me, you know, pedophile stuff in my dream. Like, that's not happening because it's disgusting. It's bad. Spirit's sending me the good stuff, the stuff that can help people. You know, like, that's part of what they sent me. So I have, you know, I've been, again, a fool.
The bridge.
That's right. The bridge.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
So I think what you're saying also, Joe, and if I can paraphrase for the audience, I was asking Bill Holter the same question the other day, and he says, you need to stand strong to your convictions. If you're using your discernment and you're listening to Spirit and you've educated yourself and you looked at this and you made these decisions for you in controversy against all your family and all the narrative on the news, stand strong. We're at that line now. Don't buckle now. So I think you're saying the same thing. Go with your gut. If you've done these things, it's for a reason. And it's mostly not to set you up to fail. If it were, you'd be down the line with the pedophiles and all those guys.
Someone asked a question earlier. I think I answered it real quick about where can I get XRP as a USA citizen? You can't really buy it anywhere. So what you have to there's a couple of options. I think both Atomic Wallet and Exodus, they have an exchange feature where you can exchange one coin for another coin.
Built into the wallet.
They do have a fee, of course, and it could be 5%, 7%. Sometimes it sucks, but it is what it is. And you can exchange crypto for XRP, and it will go right into your XRP wallet right there on the Exodus or Atomic wallet. Another website some people use.
And I believe also last year I might have got some extra ones using Simple Swap here as
yeah, I was just gonna say simpleswap.io is another website, but sometimes like you use it, it doesn't go through. I got to do a support ticket. Oh, we can't find it. We'll send you your coins back, and they do. I've never been scammed or anyone I know of, but it's like, God, it's so easy with it with Exodus and Atomic. You just press the button and you don't have to worry about sending something here, send it over there.
You pay a little bit more. You pay a little bit more, but it's a little bit more convenient. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Yeah. And you guys don't hang up when we stop. I want to show you something real quick.
Okay. Cool.
It's me.
Richard, back to you here. Last words of wisdom. You talked about the June 2022. You've helped a lot of our audience members navigate a lot of the things already in the last 2 years that you've been on the show. And we're coming to that point where you were forecasting where everything was happening all at once, that convergence of convergencies, as Cliff High was just saying here about a month ago. What do you say to the audience members here again on either standing your truth, holding strong, but also maybe taking time to re-energize here for this next battle we're about to fight?
You know what? You can only control what you can control. And one of the best things that everybody needs to do is squeeze as much life out of every day that there is. Instead of, you're so worried about, oh my God, well, dude, I'm going to die. No shit. None of us are getting out of here alive. Did you know that? Okay. Enjoy every day. Enjoy it all. Don't get all caught up in the dark shit. Okay. This stuff is happening. You're not going to stop it.
Yeah.
Try to take advantage of some of these things. You know, when these cryptos really get to the bottom, okay, and you scoop some up, you realize the wealth that you're going to have. And if it all goes to zero, listen, I got this really good pub on the other side. It's the best spirits in town. Visit me. All right. When you see those tall dudes, just says, well, where's Woo dude? Ah, you got some more coming your way. Okay. Listen. Live life here. This is an incredible change. Be part of it. Keep love in your heart. Okay, you're going to see a big division in people that you're seeing what's going on now. It's going to get worse. You know, understand this physical body is like an astronaut suit. It's designed to hold spirit. All right. If you come with love in your heart, the other entities that are coming in now cannot come around you. Mm-hmm. Okay. But other people that have darkness in their heart and they're really here to do harm, well, they're open up to these entities coming into them and taking over them. And this is going to happen. And you will see people that are so far off the road that it's going to be mind-boggling. Mm-hmm. But we've got a lot of crazy stuff going on. And my feeling is, just sit back and watch. It's a hell of a show, and you're in it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Richard. Guys, this is where I'll be in the next couple of days, following everybody's advice here to just relax, enjoy life, and hug and kiss all of my loved ones. So please join me in sharing this peaceful, tranquil lake opportunity. Yep. Simply excited for that. Guys, this was the Wacky Woo, and as I told you, it was going to get really wacky tonight on Saturday night. Thank you so much for everyone joining us here for the live show tonight. Thank you to all of my amazing panel esteemed guests. Penny Kelly, thank you so much. Joe, thank you so much. And Richard, of course, thank you so much. And folks, please remember to like, share, and subscribe on your way out. And go check out all the cool content here while I'm away. There's a lot of cool stuff in there for you to check out. And we'll see you in a very short while. I love you guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.